good week of climbing. As you guys saw in the last video, I was able to send the circuits that I wanted to send. I was able to perform on the moves that I wanted to perform. And overall, I was able to find a flow state. Would I be able to continue that flow state going into this next set of sessions? And I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It was not going the way that I expected it to go. How do you know if a good session is good or a bad session is bad? Today, I want to discuss that. Down to these three things: is the consistency of circuits, grades, or moves. I know it's something that I personally don't project a lot about because I don't think it's the end all be all, but I do know that there is a sense of acknowledgement of these circuits, of these grades, of the moves that you're trying.
Sink my hips in. I gotta keep bringing my hips in. Scary.
When I think about a good session, it's a session that I'm able to perform a move that I anticipate to perform and to be able to do it accurately and consistently. On a bad day, it's having that expectation of being able to do a move, perform a move, and then coming up quite short and not being able to make the adjustments needed. As a reminder, grades, circuits, they're all super subjective, so sometimes it's just not your day. What I will say is when I'm not consistently hitting a level of difficulty I anticipate to hit, it generally means that something is not clicking and I need to find the adjustment. But if I can't make the adjustment, oof, it's a rough day, it's a rough session. To slowly build my way up to this V4 to V5-ish range, and I just kept falling. And that's okay, falling is good. Falling means that there's a chance for me to learn something new.
Oh, so much better, let's go, okay. I'm getting so close.
Made it sting a little bit is that I was not able to make the adjustments that I wanted to make. My body was not listening to me. I felt heavy. It was a high gravity week. And this didn't just follow for one session, it followed on to the next, and the next as well. But that's part of the journey. That is why we're having this conversation.
Cannot control my core.
The other thing that I look for is my accuracy and body fatigue. Like I just said, I was feeling heavy. I found myself over pulling. Generally, when I start to over pull, it just means that I feel heavier. I feel like I have to exert more energy, but that shouldn't have been the case. My feet were feeling good. I did feel like my feet were putting down more pressure, but I think what was happening was that my body was fatigued and getting fatigued really fast, and it was not in sync. I was having this discussion with my buddy after my last session. I wasn't able to distinguish, like, why do I feel strong, yet I am not feeling strong? It's this weird balance. And he brought up, was your body not in sync? Was the motions and the movements not lining up? And that is when I had that epiphany. That's when I had that moment of realization. That's exactly what it was. Sometimes my feet were pushing really hard, but my arms weren't pulling enough. Sometimes my arms were pulling so hard, my back was pulling so hard, so engaged, but my feet weren't, my legs weren't. In order for me to have a good session, my body needs to be aligned and in sync and work together as one system. When one of those systems falls, it can lead to one of the things that can make or break your session, which is your mentality and effort. If I drop one problem, that's okay. If I drop two problems, that's okay. If I continue to drop a move, a problem, multiple problems, multiple circuits, multiple moves that I anticipate for myself to do, that's where it's not so much on my physical ability, it's now affecting my mental ability. When you aren't confident within yourself, then you will not be able to make the moves that you may physically be able to do. You're selling yourself short, and you're ultimately setting yourself up for failure. My mental attitude, the way that I speak, the way that I present myself after dropping moves and moves and moves, it's not me. It's not who I want to be. It's not the type of climber that I want to be, and it's frustrating. It can be a big snowball spiral to a session full of nothing. And all of a sudden, when your mentality breaks, your overall effort goes down, and now you just have a session full of junk mileage. It's something that I learned from running, is that you can run and run and run, but there's going to be a certain extent and a certain moment where you're just building up mileage, junk mileage, that's not actually helping you progress as a runner. And that's the same that goes for climbing. If I'm not learning, adapting, adjusting, then is that session actually worthwhile for my future? Maybe it is, maybe it's not, and it all really depends on how I take it up here. What can I learn from it?
Shit. Oh, I was scared.
Knowing those difficulties, I had to make the adjustment. So that's what comes next. Knowing these difficulties, knowing what makes a bad session, helps me understand what can make a good session. How can we flip this around? There's two concepts here: intensity versus volume. Let's think of intensity in terms of weightlifting. Let's say if you're going for a max, the most repetitions you're gonna get is 1, maybe 2. That's only 2 reps. It's still really hard, very intense. Let's say you bring the weight way down. It's something that feels very light to you. With that weight, the most repetitions you can do is maybe 8, 12, 15 reps. Is way different than 1 or 2 repetitions. That's what we're looking at for intensity versus volume.
You mind if I hop on this real quick? Thanks. Not mobile enough. No.
You have your 1 or 2 rep max, that's big intensity, versus your 8 to 12 reps, it's a lot of volume. But the variable that we're changing is the weight that we're lifting. How heavy is it? So now if we think about it for climbing, how hard am I pulling? How hard is this problem for me? And I found that the V4 to V6 range, that was last week, that was the last session, and I could not continue to try that. I could not continue to do that, or I was going to continue to build junk mileage.
Oh my god, I do need this. Oh my god. I don't have to do that. I do not have to do all that. God damn it. Got pumped out.
I had to make a change. So for me, what I did is that I went to the kilter board, I chose a V0 to V1, and just continued to bust them out. I was looking for a lot of volume. I was looking to stay on the wall. I was looking to pull a lot. The holds I could hold, the moves I could do, but as you continue to go throughout this session, an hour later, I was pumped, I was fatigued, I was tired. It was definitely hard. But it wasn't intense. The intensity wasn't insane. It wasn't a V6. That in itself made the session feel so good. It made me feel good. It made me feel accomplished and not like I failed myself within a session. Because what I was learning, increasing my capacity of volume, so when it does come down to those more intense movements, I can continue that and to continue to pull hard forward longer. Not only that, it was a chance for me to dial in my technique and try to be a little bit more accurate, a little bit better with my feet, a little bit better. Every single session ends up being really big steps by the end of the year. We build these small building blocks so we can get further in the overall grand scope and view of the whole picture. And the second concept for adjustment that I wanted to talk about is being kind to yourself. We have our ups and we have our downs. I'm sure you guys might have heard it. Our sessions are built out in thirds. 1/3 of our sessions may be the best sessions that you ever have. Another third is gonna be a neutral session. It's gonna feel just like any other training day. It's gonna feel like any other climbing day. And the last third, it's gonna feel like bad. Like it's gonna feel like shit, and that's okay. We have those bad days, we have those great days, and we have those days of just being days. The best thing that we can do is to be kind to ourselves and acknowledge that it's gonna happen, that it's okay, and it's part of the process and part of the journey. There's a reason why that you're watching this video. There's a reason why that you are climbing. We gotta remember that this is a sport, to have fun and to be more in tune with ourselves and our bodies, and to be able to accomplish what we didn't think we could accomplish before.
Pretty stoked that I came in wanting to do more, listened to my body, and found that like the moves that I wanted to do, it was just not working. This would be the third session where I was setting like too high of an expectation and coming up short, but instead of like dwelling on that, being able to adjust, throw on V0s, V1s, and just go. I don't feel good about this. What the fuck? Oh, stop. Holy shit. I'm so glad that last move was a left hand.
I'm curious on what your experience is. Did you have a good session? Did you have a bad session? What was it like? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to see more of content like this, hit the subscribe button, click a like, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
God.